It's a strange time for Spurs fans as they watch their football team and look at the ice white on the Tottenham shirt. It's starting to turn a dull yellow as the milk turns sour on Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Lost yesterday against Man City, who've got more money than anyone. They've got a new stadium that they're about to go into sooner or later. They've had one of their best starts to a season ever. Oh no, we haven't signed everyone! What's wrong at Spurs, Flav? Off you go.
I think the biggest problem is that it kind of feels like we're turning into Arsenal somewhat. You're looking back at what they...
I didn't say that, people.
Look, I'm just saying that there's comparisons to what happened, and you're like, it doesn't feel good. We don't have a home, and we haven't signed anyone. All right, that's one thing. We haven't signed anyone. That's fine, but it's the living in limbo and not having somewhere to play out I think that's the basis of the frustration.
Right, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Often people like to say in the comments that we are filming in a dentist room, but today, Flav, it's a bit of therapy for you, okay? Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's make you feel a little better, and let's find out, are Spurs the new Arsenal? Because there are some parallels here. By the way, I just want to say this is the last video that Adam on the ones and twos will be on, and he's got a massive grin on his face because he's enjoying what's been a difficult few weeks for Brentford. QPR, of course, winning loads, but a really tough time for you, and Adam has been enjoying it in the office, turning on you. So Adam, whenever you need to speak up with a few trolling comments just for that final last hurrah, off you go. Okay, so Spurs played Man City yesterday. This is the way I saw that game, right? I watched that game. I thought you did all right.
Yeah.
I thought we played okay.
Yeah, we played fine.
You're playing Man City, who are awesome, okay? You're playing on a dodgy pitch, that was weird. But you're a club that's doing well, has done well for a while. So why has everyone got a problem? You sound a little bit spoilt and a little bit short-termist.
It's not short-termism. I think what it is actually it's a demonstration that it's so important to have a home ground, somewhere to play out of, something that defines you as a football club. Because at the moment, what are Spurs? What are we? We're playing in a stadium that doesn't belong to us. We're playing on an NFL pitch.
Yeah. And it's not forever though, is it?
But how long is it for, Jim? And that's the thing. We don't know. It might be the rest of this season. Rumours coming out that we might not get into a new stadium this game at all, this season at all, and that's where it's coming from. The frustration is that it's not signing new players. In fact, Pochettino's come out and said this is the lowest he's ever felt being a manager. All of those things combined. Regardless, if we beat West Ham, if we beat Wolves at the weekend, I don't think this feeling of stasis is going to go. I think we're in purgatory, and we're just waiting to see which way it goes. All we want, I think all Spurs fans want, just want to start. We want to start in the new stadium, want to get up and running. And you're saying, like, whinging and saying that we're whinging, we're being a bit spoiled. I think any football club, of any level, having to kind of experience, just no one wants to go to Wembley. So you're having to go to a stadium you don't want to go to just to support your team, in spite of the fact that everything has happened. I think any football fan would struggle with that.
I think, look, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but one thing that might be interesting to people that aren't Spurs fans is to go into a bit more detail on the nightmare with the stadium. Which, when you're making a stadium, I always think go too far in terms of like when you're going to get in the stadium. It's probably going to be the end of that. Say the end of this season, and if you then get into the stadium before then like jobs are good and like the fans are happy that you've got in the stadium earlier. What I find strange is how, I guess they obviously thought that they were going to be in the stadium by that point. But just break down the problems that have occurred when it comes to the stadium.
Well, the problem was they were overly ambitious. So it was, as it's turned out, impossible to build a stadium that size. Not just the stadium, the infrastructure around it. There's going to be another 2 years of work building out so that we have access to a train station after this. They were just too optimistic, and you're right. They should have probably said, with hindsight, that two years in Wembley is what needs to happen. And I think everybody there'd have been grumbles, and people go, "It's been 2 years in Wembley," but people have understood that's the timeline. We want the stadium. We understand. But what actually happened was they sold the season tickets for this season.
That's what I didn't know. I thought that's.
Yeah, there's 44,000 people that are paid up.
Well, they took the money though, haven't they?
Yeah, they've taken the money, everything. They took £44,000 people, entire season ticket money, many of which have had to do it on credit, and and everyone's thinking we'll go into the game, and then it was like, oh, it's not ready for the 15th of Liverpool. It's not ready for 15th of September against Liverpool, and then it's not ready for Chelsea, and it won't be ready till the new year. So, and then they've been systematically refunding people and recharging them for the Wembley tickets, some of which are more expensive than the refunded tickets they're getting back. So, it's
it's a strange kind of frustration for you.
Frustration isn't about the football. Everybody, this is what I'm saying. My point here is that you can't.
It's a little bit about the football.
I think
if you'd won a trophy in the last 3 years, then you'd be a bit more like, you'd have had that kind of release.
Yeah, that would have helped. That would have helped. But this season, our performances, well, at least our results have been very good. We can't argue with what we got so far. That's a good place to start from. It's just everyone else has been incredible. I think it's one of those things. The frustrations are not about what's going on the pitch. It's about how it's been run after the pitch. But then the same argument is, how can you blame Levy? Really, is it his fault? Shouldn't he be ambitious? Shouldn't he be strive for things that are? Or there's nothing wrong with having an ambitious chairman. It's just that his ambition always seems to be about business rather than.
But isn't there an element of I understand that I understand frustration to a point, but because you're kind of trapped because you're not moving forward in terms of the playing staff, you're not moving forward in terms of the stadium at this moment in time, and you can't. I think the thing that Spurs fans are struggling with a little bit is, have you reached the ceiling? Is this as good as it gets? And even in this period where you've had a squad that's been able to compete, you haven't got over the line with certain things, and you've got a manager that's the best manager you've had,
probably since Bill Nick.
And he's that frustration that the fans are feeling. I'd imagine the players are feeling as well, because they've all been there a while now. The standing still of that, Dele Alli's signed a new contract today, and that's kind of put out there to make people feel a little bit better, and it does a little bit, that's all impressive. Yeah. But it's the same people, and nothing's really changing. For Pochettino, it's the same people, and nothing's changed. But the reason why I don't have any sympathy for Spurs fans at the moment is these are all positive steps that you're moving forward on. The only person I would go, I get why you're a bit annoyed, but you've signed up for it, literally, is Pochettino.
Yeah, he needed the landscape beforehand. I think he made one strange comment in the sense that he said he doesn't think the priorities of this football club is to win the league, which is alarming. It's out of all the things he said, it's like perhaps our ideologies don't align here. But he must have known that stuff. I don't know quite why he said that stuff. Come out and said that, unless he's trying to pave a way for an exit. I don't know. But
Jamie Carragher was saying on Monday Night Football yesterday how. So he was even having an argument with Gary Neville. Gary Neville's he's obviously got that experience. He's going, look, you can't spend more than you've got. It's like it's having a go at someone's house when they can't afford a better house.
Yeah.
But Carragher's saying that there should have been money to keep that squad fresher.
There was money ring-fenced, apparently. And I don't know the real reason why we didn't sign players. I think my basis is that it was Pochettino's decision not to sign anyone. The targets we aimed to get were got by other people. We don't have the money that Liverpool do have and Arsenal do have and all the others. But ultimately what it comes down to, and I think all fans realise this, is that barring some very weird examples like Leicester win the league, you win the league by spending money. It's the only way you can. So Spurs have to position themselves by where they can spend more than their rivals, even if it's just one summer and you have a go at it. Liverpool have tried it this year.
Or you accumulate value like Liverpool have to a certain extent, where they've bought players and those players have got better with the club, but you've also sold Coutinho and then used that money wisely to improve the squad as well. The title of this video is "Are Spurs the New Arsenal?" Why is that a valid title for this video?
Because Arsenal built their stadium and then they had 10 years of stasis. And they had a manager that overachieved with the squad that he had at his disposal. and Pochettino and Spurs look like they're entering that situation as well. Pochettino's overachieved, I think.
Do you have a newfound understanding of how some Arsenal fans behaved over the last few years?
Do you know what? Yeah, genuinely I do.
Wow.
I do have because, but it's different. The reasons for it are different. Like, I'm frustrated because I want to be playing in Tottenham. Tottenham is a shithole, but I love it. And that's where we're from, and that's where we play, and that's what's important to me. I don't care so much about. I could finish 8th or 9th in the league and enjoy it more than I'm enjoying it right now, because I have something to hold on to. And I've always talked about that and about Spurs. The difference between Tottenham and Arsenal is that we're a legitimate football club with foundations and roots in the area, and we play out of the area at which we were founded. We're playing 100 yards from where the football club was founded. And Arsenal's supporters, and this isn't a dig, these are just the way the land lies, right? They're going to say it differently, and I understand it, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Arsenal fans are obsessed with what happens on the pitch because they don't have the history of the club like Spurs, like QPR, like Brentford do, which is essentially playing out of where you're playing from. You hold on to your history because that's important. But what Spurs have got, and they said, we haven't got anything. We're just playing in this weird national stadium that gets doubly used for NFL, like our new stadium's going to. But we're not playing out of our area, and that's where the frustration comes from. Now, I can understand from Arsenal's perspective, because of those points I just outlaid, that if they're not getting what they want on the pitch, despite giving up having to move from Highbury, which wasn't their spiritual home, but it was a place they made home, they weren't getting what they promised for in return. Spurs haven't promised the world with this stadium. They said we'll be able to compete. But we won't, we're not going to go out there and suddenly become like the Manchester City of the Premier League, Manchester City version, another version of Man City. It's just there is similarities between the situations at Arsenal and Tottenham, and I can see them kind of playing out. I think though, if it doesn't, we have a much better squad. Actually, I can't remember what kind of squad had Arsenal going into that.
I mean, they famously did actually. When you look at it 10 years on, they actually did very, very well with the budget that they had in that period of time.
I think 50 million. I think 50 million pounds every transfer window would be enough for us to have a go at the league. If every time we bought in two £25 million players or one £50 million player, I don't think that's unrealistic. I think a club, we should be able to do that. Spurs would be in charge of the most amount of money for season tickets.
And there's never been more money in the Premier League either. Yeah. And you're playing Champions League football as well currently. Yeah,
and so you just feel like it's basically the start of the season. I'll tell you what this is. Start of the season, it felt like the goodwill that the club had built up, it was gone. And now they had to deliver everything because of the prices of the season ticket, because they didn't sign any players. Fans are like, all right, okay, that's fine. Been reasonable. Now you deliver, because you're asking everything from us. You're asking all of the money. You're asking us to accept no signings. You're asking us to accept the fact that we're not going to play in the stadium. All of this stuff. Now you have to do your bit, and it isn't happening. So there's nothing that a few amazing results won't turn around.
Well, so West Ham in the League Cup very quickly after 2 days after that. It's tough, and West Ham have beaten you a couple of times in recent years. So that's although it's a League Cup game,
League Cup game against us. I think look, they're going to be all out. They're going to get revenge on last week. They're going to want to. They always want to beat Spurs. They're going to play a full strength team. Pochettino didn't start Eriksen and Nally. They were both returning from injury, so they'll probably play. But we'll play a weakened side, and winning against that's important. And if you beat West Ham, if you beat Wolves at the weekend, then it just feels a bit better. But the stadium's the biggest thing. Everyone's just like, and a lot of people realise the fact that how difficult it is to build that stadium. I don't think that's lost on anyone.
So, a final thing on that then. So, because I'm not sure, maybe for you it's so strongly rooted in you as a Spurs fan, but I'd be intrigued to know. Let us know in the comments if you're a Spurs fan, you feel exactly the same way, that it's just totally about that kind of getting back home kind of thing. But if we're chatting in a year's time and you're in the exact same position with the exact same performances, but you're in your ground, do you think there would be the same kind of
leeway,
anger,
right.
anger or disappointment or frustration at the kind of, like you say, the inertia maybe of the situation on the pitch.
No, because you can rationalise in that instance. You can kind of think, right, we've got a new stadium. There's a plan to pay off the debt that we need to. We can then start actually understand what our budget is because we're not hemorrhaging money by building the stadium anymore. You can then start to think, all right, well, how can you look forward? But from this perspective, we don't know.
Right.
We don't know if there's going to be any money in January. We don't. Yeah. How long to you need some stability and structure. And I think people will be more lenient next season if we are in this new stadium than just the not knowing. Adam, you lose your cat, it's run away. It's the not knowing that gets you.
Adam, pretty poor in terms of the trolling during that video. I'll let you have the final word.
Down, he can't say anything. It's Brentford.
One question.
Yes, Adam.
Real Madrid just lost their manager.
Oh.
What happens to Spurs if they come and pinch Pochettino?
Ooh.
What happens then?
What would happen then? Who would you want in? George Graham?
What happens then?
McLaren, don't you dare take him away from us. Cool, we're on fire.
How big a problem is that for Spurs? Does it throw everything off?
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, that's a great question. I don't know.
He goes,
if he goes,
what would you do? How would you feel?
I'd feel horrendous because he legitimately is the best manager we've had since Bill Nick. What could he do with money? What could he? If you give him Man United, he wins the league, I think.
Interesting.
If you give him Liverpool, actually, I mean, he's comparable to Klopp in that respect. With Liverpool's backing of him, 150 million this season, what could he do? If he feels like he hasn't been backed, then what future has he got at Spurs? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, Adam. I hope you fucking hate your new job.
Can you sum up, Adam, this whole thing in one word, this Spurs situation?
Circus.
Circus. Okay, are Spurs the new Arsenal with all the problems that are going on? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the fact that if Pochettino leaves, Flav will be in utter disarray? Let us know in the comments below. If you're still watching this video, then hit the like button.
I won't be in disarray.
Subscribe to Ball Street.
We carry on. We move forward.
Marching on together.
We go again.
We'll see you soon.
We'll never be fucking Brentford, that's that. I mean, we could literally go bankrupt, lose all of our players, and we'll never be as insignificant as Brentford.
We've got it!
He's a big one!